Hello once again, everyone. Original Blood Ice back again, and it's time to talk about some Super Smash Bros. Character ballot type news. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this particular story, but it fit with what the rest of, or it fits with the rest of what I'm going to talk about. So I thought, fuck it, let's throw it in the video. So, first of all, the Xbox boss, Phil Spencer, says he would like Banjo in the next Super Smash Bros. Game. Now, he doesn't say he would like it, he says he thinks it would be cool. It's not like he's saying, oh, I think Nintendo should put him in there. He's saying in his tweet here, I think it would be cool if Banjo was in the next Smash Bros. DLC. We've worked with Nintendo on Rare IP before, no issues. Which is confusing, because what do you mean you've worked with Rare IPs before with Nintendo? I do not recall Microsoft and Nintendo working on a game together with Rareware. That just does not line up for me. And this was all because a guy, Pedro here, asked Xbox, Nintendo is holding a poll for the next Smash Bros. DLC, and Banjo's a popular choice. It would mean so much if I could get him in. Now, I guess by popular choice, you just mean in general, because there's no way fans or anyone out there can see the actual poll results of what people are actually voting for. But anyway, like I've said in comments, and I'm not going to waste too much time talking about this, just because Phil Spencer says he's fine with it, does not mean Microsoft is fine with it. Phil Spencer might be a nice guy. He seems to be a hell of a lot nicer than the last Xbox guy in charge, or guy in charge of Xbox. Bleh. But the fact is, he has no real power. It's kind of like Reggie. Reggie has some influence, but it still all comes back to Iwata with him. But anyway, back to Phil Spencer, he's just a puppet for Microsoft. He has no actual power. He'll be like, oh, I'd love to see Banjo in Smash Bros. Well, I mean, most people would. However, Microsoft would be like, you want Banjo back? I don't think so. Because they are doing basically what Capcom is doing with Mega Man, and that's holding him captive and saying, we have it, but we ain't going to use it. And even if Microsoft did consider it, they would only let Nintendo do it if they forked over a crap ton of money. And you know they would. So I really don't think Banjo's going to happen. So let's move on to the next thing here. Way Forward really wants Shante, or is it Shante or Shante? I don't know, in Super Smash Bros. Now, I've heard of her, I've never played these games, I don't care for these games, no offense to Way Forward. But I'm going to be brutally honest. There is about a dozen characters much more important and much more deserving than Shante. So, thanks, but for me personally, no thanks. Please don't vote for this character. Let's see, what else do we got here? And this is kind of a interesting thing. It's not confirmed, but if it wants to load. The Super Smash Bros. Fighter ballot may only be limited to Nintendo characters. Because this was pointed out on their Facebook page, Nintendo's Facebook page. It says, okay, here it goes. Which Nintendo character do you want in Super Smash Bros? Submit your choice at the official site. Exactly, right there. What? Nintendo character. Now, Banjo is no longer Nintendo. He has roots in Nintendo, but he is now Microsoft. So I think that disqualifies him. And then if you're thinking, people who are saying, like, what about Snake? That's not Nintendo. Disqualified. What about Bayonetta? Partially Nintendo, but still Sega. So, or no, not Sega. Platinum Games? Yeah. Either way. Still, that might disqualify her. So, again, we don't know if this actually is legit. But if it is, I hope it is, to be brutally honest, because we don't want stupid random shit like, what's an example? I mean, like, Snake is a perfect example. Hated him. Don't want him back. Shrek and Goku, Naruto, those crappy things. I mean, Sakurai's already said those were stupid, or not stupid, but he said, what did he say? Ridiculous character suggestions or whatever. But my point is, keep it to Nintendo characters. It's like, don't turn it into PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale type thing. But, I don't know. Or like the Mario Kart thing, how they broke it being Mario Kart, now it's Nintendo Kart with Link in there, and Villager, and Isabelle. Either way, And before we get into the next bit here, I wanted to just reiterate my top choices here. Actually, no, let's do that at the end. Let's do that at the end of the video. The next one here, you might recognize this character, you might not. We'll wait for it to load. If it wants to, come on, come on. Nicholas is asking people to vote, quote, from Cave Story for Super Smash Bros. So it's the character from Cave Story. Do you play Smash Bros? Do you love Cave Story? Then vote for quote. I didn't even know the name of that character. I recognized the look of the character. But, again, neat character and everything, but there's so many characters that are much more worthy, and it's kind of crazy to see all these developers saying, "Oh, we'd love to see our character, vote for ours," when it's just, especially when it's a character that really doesn't have much time in the spotlight, where their games are not really that blockbuster. You know, they're not that massive and special. Because it's like Cave Story is. Was there two games in that franchise, if that, or was one a remake? I don't remember. I mean, it's not a very big thing. And Shante is just kind of a character off to the side with a few fans here and there, but it's not a global juggernaut. So, whatever. Um, let's see here. Now, this was kind of contradicting to that Nintendo's Facebook thing, where Nintendo of America representative says any video game character is eligible for the Smash Bros. Ballot. But we've heard before bullshit from representatives, because representatives are just people who Nintendo hire, and then Nintendo tells them certain key things that they can say to the public to help answer questions. They don't actually have any inside knowledge to what Nintendo's plans are that they weren't already told, if you understand what I'm saying. So, him saying that any character is, don't take that as written in stone and end of discussion, because it's simply not true. I mean, it could be, but it's simply not his, it's not like you're asking Iwata. So, either way, I'm leaning towards their Facebook thing where they say pick Nintendo characters, but either way, because remember, he did say Rayman was playable before, well, not this particular representative, but one before at E3 last year, I believe. So, don't believe him. And then here's another developer, Yacht Club Games, you are familiar with, which I forget when the DLC comes out for Shovel Knight, which I've got to be excited to play that. But they hopes that fans will vote for Shovel Knight for Smash Bros. Out of like him and Shantae and the Cave Story character, Shovel Knight definitely is better. My only kind of thing holding me back from saying Shovel Knight, and by the way, Shovel Knight would be my fourth choice for a character to be added as DLC, believe it or not. But Shovel Knight, the only thing holding me back from really being more, supportive of that, and by the way, love Yacht Club Games, you guys are great, but the thing is, they brought Yacht Club Games, they brought Shovel Knight to other platforms that isn't Nintendo or PC. There's Shovel Knight didn't it come to PS4? I don't remember if it's on Xbox One. So therefore, it kinda is not necessarily a Nintendo character. It's a throwback to Nintendo's past, with the 8-bit days and whatnot. But still, either way, don't know if that'll happen. So let's get into my personal picks. Now, I think I've said this before. I have my top 3, and before I actually say them, I'm going to reiterate that I believe, since this ends the ballot on October 3rd, I don't think every fucking character that people suggest is going to be made into a character, because that is just unrealistic beyond comprehension to think that. I think, best case scenario, they will take the top 3 most requested characters and turn them into characters. And of course, they'll each come out at different fucking times. It's not like they'll all be made together and all come out the same day. Or they'll just take the top 1, which would be kind of disappointing. I'd be okay with top 2, but don't think there's going to be more than 3, because that's just unrealistic. But anyway, my top 3, of course, my number 1. Over every other fucking character in existence, Wolf O'Donnell. That's a throwaway. Or not a throwaway, but that's a toss-away. No, that's the same fucking thing. What am I trying to say? That's an easy one to guess for me. My number 2 pick, Bomberman. Because Bomberman needs some love from the past. Again, not technically, though, a Nintendo character. He was on Nintendo in the past, on Nintendo platforms, so it's possible. So who knows? Third choice, Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia, as well as Tales of Symphonia Dawn of a New World, even though it was on the PS2 in Japan only, the first one, but the second one was only on the Wii. So I think he would technically fit. Other characters I'd be fine with, like I said, Shovel Knight would be my fourth pick. I'd even be fine with Toad, and having a Captain Toad costume as an alternate costume. That'd be pretty cool. Um, Other than that, I really don't think there's any other characters that I want. I mean, just kind of as a trolling thing, I love Slippy from Star Fox as well to be in there just cuz. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Crystal. I don't have anything against Crystal, but I'm fine without her being in there. And maybe even if you had Fox and Falco, you have Fox and his right-hand man, and if you have Wolf, maybe they should bring in another member of Team Star Wolf, like Leon or Panther or not Pigma because he's an idiot and he died. I forget who else. What was the other guy's name? Yeah, I forget. Either way, there's a few characters out there that I wouldn't mind, but Slippy would be hilarious. But Wolf, Bomberman, um, are my top two, no doubt about it. I did a few voting things of this, and I hope my subscribers, for me, vote for Wolf. Even if you do just one ballot, then I would be grateful, because Wolf got screwed, and that's just not fair. But that'll do it for this this video. Stay tuned, more videos coming soon. As always, we'll see you then.